Good afternoon to all the viewers joining us at this afternoon broadcast. To begin with the latest. Well, defence ministers of India and Japan, they held bilateral talks in New Delhi and discussed ways to further strengthen bilateral defence relations, enhance strategic trust and cooperation, promote stability and security in the Indo-Pacific, and also identify new areas of collaboration. Delivering his opening remarks, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh highlighted India's vision of Mahasagar. Take a listen.
इंडियन ओशन और पब्लिक ओशन की सुरक्षा आपस में गहरे रूप से जुड़ी हुई है, इसलिए इंडिया के महासागर विजन यानी म्यूचुअल एंड होलिस्टिक एडवांसमेंट फॉर सिक्योरिटी एंड ग्रोथ फॉर ऑल इन द रीजन और जापान के फ्री एंड ओपन इंडो पैसिफिक इनिशिएटिव्स के बीच क्लोज अलाइनमेंट आज पहले से भी कहीं ज़्यादा जरूरी है.
Speaking at the India-Japan Defence Ministers meeting in New Delhi, Japanese Defence Minister Shinjiro Koizumi underscored that the security environment in the Indo-Pacific is rapidly becoming more complex and uncertain.
現在、インド太平洋地域の安全保障環境は急速に複雑化し、不確実性が高まっています。両首脳のリーダーシップの下、新大臣とともに日印の防衛関係をあるべき姿に迅速に引き上げたいと考えています。本日はそのために何が必要か、共に何に取り組んでいくのか、具体的に議論をしたいと思います。よろしくお願いします。ありがとうございました。
The defence ministers of India and Japan concurred on deepening operational cooperation in the field of maritime security in a practical and effective manner. They accordingly affirmed their commitment to strengthening maritime security cooperation and also signed the Memorandum of Arrangement on Maritime Security Cooperation between the Ministry of Defence of Japan and the Ministry of Defence in India. The memorandum provides a framework for further advancing cooperation between the two countries in the field of maritime security, and specifically it includes the strengthening of cooperation between the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force and the Indian Navy, including information sharing in the field of maritime domain awareness, as well as enhanced cooperation in areas such as search and rescue and humanitarian assistance and disaster relief. The two ministers affirmed that they would strengthen coordination between both the sides for the protection of sea lines of communications through mutual visits by naval ships and units, joint exercises, personnel and subject matter expert exchanges and logistical support, including the use of ports, maintenance and repairing of facilities. Now, such cooperation is vital not only to Japan and India, but also to the region and the international community. And prior to the meeting, Japan's Defence Minister Koizumi paid homage to India's fallen heroes by laying a wreath at the National War Memorial in New Delhi. He was received with the ceremonial Tri-Service Guard of Honour. And now to get you more on this, I am joined by DD India correspondent Vishal Baristo, who's tracking the latest development. Good afternoon, Vishal. Now, in their joint statement, the two ministers concurred on deepening operational cooperation in the field of maritime security. Take us through the key takeaways from the joint statement, Vishal.
Very good afternoon to you, Deepika. Before I answer to your question, let us understand the importance of this maiden visit of the Defense Minister of Japan. We know that we have had a bilateral between the Prime Minister of India and Japan, and it was an annual summit that was followed by the Defense Secretary of India visiting Tokyo, and now we are also having a 2+2 ministerial meeting, which means that the Defense Minister of both the countries along with the External Affairs Minister of both the countries, that meeting is to be held in November. Now this meeting is very important because of the strategic and global importance, and that is why both countries are looking forward to preparing a blueprint as far as maritime security in the Indo-Pacific region is concerned. We know that China is becoming a big threat as far as the South China Sea area and also the Indo-Pacific region, and that is why the memorandum of agreement has been signed between the two countries, and we know that Japan's self-defense maritime security forces and also the Indian Navy, they have signed an agreement, and this would be based on the maritime security and also on the maritime domain alliance and information sharing, which is going to be very, very important. Not only that, both navies would also be looking into the technical part of both the navies, the maintenance part, and also time and again joint exercises. We know that exercise Veer Guardian is soon to happen between the air forces of both the countries. We have had joint exercise between the navies of both the countries, that was called JAMX, and also between the armies of both the countries, that was Dharma Guardian. So India and Japan are also celebrating 75 years of diplomatic ties next year, and at this juncture, this meeting is certainly very, very important because both the nations understand the importance of rule of order in the Indo-Pacific region.
Also, technology collaboration under the Make in India framework was also one of the key areas touched by both the countries, as you also mentioned. Fill us with key details of this particular arrangement and understanding agreed between both the parties. Vishal.
Well, Deepika, there is a very important co-production going on between the two countries. Already Japan has agreed to transfer technology and also help India in its Make in India campaign to make India self-reliant in the defense sector. And that project is called Unicorn. Unicorn is a complex radio antenna system which provides stealth communication. That's a seaborne system. And yesterday, the Defense Minister of Japan went to the Western Naval Command, and also he was accompanied by our naval chief. So he went in the Indian Air Force plane, and he also mentioned in his statement during the bilateral, and he said that he was very much impressed by the growing sea dominance of India as far as the maritime strength is concerned. But he said that India and Japan can go a long way. We have not yet achieved that point where we can say that, oh, we have achieved great as far as the defense cooperation is concerned, so we have a long way to go.
Right.
And during the bilateral, the Defense Minister of India also mentioned about his support as far as the recent earthquake in Japan was concerned. He said that India is always ready for any kind of support. And in his statement, the Defense Minister of Japan also was very appreciative that Indian Parliament, especially the Lok Sabha, every year holds a condolence in memory of the atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So both the countries, they have deep-rooted diplomatic and democratic ties, and both countries are of the view that it is not only the commercial part, but the strategic part has to be also looked into, and that is why a free flow of Indian Ocean along with the Pacific is very much required.
All right. Thank you so much, Vishal, for joining us and getting us all the latest on this ongoing development and the bilateral meeting between both the nations.